I had to move over to the YouTube platform. It seems like more and more it's happening to me in my page on Facebook. So I have to contemplate whether or not I want to do any lives anymore over there because it just seems like it's kind of a hassle. But I'm going to give you guys a, hold on, I got to turn my laptop down. All right, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to find me here, and then we'll get started on our Happy Hedgehog class to go. So this is not my ordinary kind of stamp set and punch, but I did purchase this a while back, maybe 1 or 2 months ago, and I'm just getting to it, and I thought I would make this our class to go for this week. So if you do place an order on my website, $35 minimum order, I will send you 4 card kits to go, and they'll ship to you free, and they're going to be the cards that I'm making tonight. The recommended kind of project or the products that's recommended that you use for this, of course, is the Hedgehog Builder Punch and the Happy Hedgehogs stamp set. So again, this is not a stamp set I generally would have purchased, but I did because I wanted to kind of work outside of my comfort zone. So let's see if there's anybody on. If not, well, that's how it goes. You can watch the replay. Okay, so let's take a look at the card. Oh, let's take a look at the stamp set and the punch. You guys know I like to work with punches. So this is kind of a 2-piece of a punch, kind of the body and the upper part. But here's the stamp set. I will be coloring in this multiple times, 3 times on tonight's live. And I want to show you 2 cards with the hedgehogs and 2 cards without the hedgehog. So this stamp set, if you don't like these right here, you can just don't purchase the punch, just purchase the stamp set. And I'm going to show you a few cards that I've made 2 and 2. So let's take a look at the first one here using Night of Navy and Balmy Blue are our main colors in this card here, in the Scallop Contours dies too. And then I love that sweet little bird, which we'll be coloring it tonight. So that's one of them that's not using the hedgehog. And then the next one not using the hedgehog is this one here. I've got that flowering tree, plant, whatever you want to call it, and a mushroom here. And I've got it backed here with Mossy Meadow. And here's a little strip of the Designer Series paper on the inside and our stamped envelope as well. So that's card number 2. And then using the hedgehog, I love the little butterfly like sticking on his nose there. I do highlight it here, and using the basic, the rhinestone basic jewels, which will be your free gift from me if your order is $50 or more. And this one I did not design in the inside. And then we will be stamping the butterfly there in Memento Black. And then we will be coloring it in. Here's another one that I made. Let me just show you. This was my original design. I didn't put a sentiment on it, but then I wanted to show it to you with a sentiment over here. So this area here, it could be happy birthday even if you wanted to use a different stamp set, but we only have 2 choices in this one, this stamp set. So if you want to pull in another stamp set, you're, welcome to do that too. And then the 3rd or 4th card here, it's kind of fun. It's got the stylish shapes, the circles, and a little hedgehog here. I did stamp that on crumb cake using soft suede ink. And we've got the 2 different layering circles. This has got a basic gray card base here. Let me just take this off real quick. I made, see here. When I do do my photography, it's really hard to take photographs when it's out like this. So I usually put a Stampin' Dimensional on here just to keep it shut. And looks like I didn't take it off, but this one's super cute too. And this is really quick and easy to make. So I'm going to get started. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to actually bring my laptop a little bit closer so I can see. I've got my whole craft room reorganized. It's not 100% ready yet, but it's getting there. And this is the first time I'm actually doing a live or video on my desk here. And I'm on the opposite side, so we'll see how this goes. All right, let's see if we've got anybody on here. Hey, Louise, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so give us a comment in the box there, and you know, what stamp sets are you working with now? What would you like me to see, or what would you like me to start making? Would you like me to start making Christmas cards, 3D projects, craft fair items? Let me know, and then we will go from there. I'll look at the comments a little bit later. Okay, so the first one I was going to work on is this one here, which is kind of the generic one. Let me just put all of these aside. And I'll go over that special again with you a little bit later. So you'll have your card kit. Of course, I'll have it all nicely arranged for you. But this is what you'll get in your card kit. So let me just make sure we got everything out. So we're going to be sending you some basic white medium envelopes. Our card base is Night of Navy, and I'll just take a bone folder here to burnish it. And this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I've already pre-scored it at 4 1/4. Your kit will come this way. I'm going to have it already scored and folded for you because I feel like when I ship things, I like them all in the envelope versus sticking out of the envelope. That way it kind of is all nice and tidy and it doesn't get loose and can get more damage, I feel, if it was, you know, all the way out like this. Okay, so anyway, that is your card base, Night of Navy. And then we have the basic white, which is 5 1/4 by 4. That's on the inside. We've got 2 little strips here. They're 1/2 inch in height and just kind of generic on the length because we're going to trim those down. And I've got balmy blue and basic white. And then I'm working with the scallop contours, which is in balmy blue. And then we've got our basic white one here too. So I'm going to get a few things ready to go. We do need to be working with a Stampin' Purist mat tonight because we're using photopolymer stamps. Okay, so we're going to stamp first, and you'll need some, like a scrap paper, a small piece. It doesn't have to be very big. So let me just take, I'm just going to take this piece right here. Actually, that'll work too. All right, so let me find my stamp here. Okay, it's up here. All right, so I already have this one mounted, and it's kind of mounted on the left side because we're going to add the mushroom here a little bit later. So we're going to stamp the tree, and I'm going to call this a tree tonight, a flowering tree. And then I'm going to add the mushroom here a little bit later. But for this one, actually, I do need a little Post-it note. Okay, so what I want is I want to mask. You can either do it 2 ways. You can add this piece right here in the corner and then stamp, because this, I don't want this here inked up, and that's grass, okay? Because this is just going to be a branch. And if you do mess up, you can, like I did before, you can just take your sentiment panels and cover it up, the boo-boo that I made anyway. So I'm going to try to show you how I mask. And I use Post-it note, and I want to mask up this grass here. So I'm just going to grab the Post-it note and put it over here and get it stuck on here. Then I'm going to take my Memento Black Ink, and I like to take my ink pad to the stamp itself. Let me just turn it this way here. And I'm just going to add the Memento Black, okay? And I think this looks like it's super juicy, but I'm not really sure. So I did re-ink one of these, and I'm not sure if it's this one or not. So now we want to take this off because we don't want to stamp with that, because that would transfer onto your die here. So we're going to get this all centered here. Now I'm going to try to get this branch all the way over to the edge. And I do want to stamp, try to stamp as far over as I can because I need room for that bird. So I'm going to look at the top leaves there and this last flower over here on the left side. And let's see. I think that's as far as I can go. And then let's just stamp that right down. Not too bad. We're going to cover this up here anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I could have not masked it and it really wouldn't have mattered because of that sentiment placement. But I kind of wanted to show you how to mask. Now the envelope, we're going to stamp the little birdie on the envelope. I love this little bird. It's so stinking cute. And again, we're going to be using Memento Black. I should just leave this out the whole time. Okay, so we'll just ink this up here. Now, our envelope, we're going to stamp this little bird over here in the corner there. I like to stamp something in the corner. And then on the, let's see, yeah, we're stamping this bird 3 times. So you might get sick of me by the time this live is done, but we're going to be doing a lot of coloring. And there's that little bird there. You could leave them black if you wanted to. It really, you know, it's all totally up to you. So we've got the inside panel, and now we got to take this one that we just stamped before. And I want to get his feet or her feet right on that branch the best I can. There we go. So now it looks like that bird is standing right on the branch there. We are all done with Memento Black. And let me just get these all over. I'm using a variable, a few different colors on all of these. I tried to make it as simple as I could. But for this one, I'm going to be using Balmy Blue because that's going to match our cardstock. And of course, Crumb Cake for the body of the bird. So that's dark and light. And then the flowers are going to be Balmy Blue with this one here. This really bright color, Parakeet Party. It's very similar to Granny Apple Green. Okay, so I think that's all the markers or the blends that I need. And what I thought I would show you is how I kind of, if I was mass producing, how, like, say I want to make 10 of these cards, like I've got to make swap cards for on stage, and I got to get them done by Friday. So I was planning on making 25 to 30. So what I would do, I'm going to pretend I'm making swap cards. So I've got the dark and light Balmy Blue. So I'm going to start with the dark. And on this bird here, they've got these feathers that usually are a little bit different color than your you know, the feathers at the top. So I would color that in. Then I would move over to my inside panel and I would color in here. And then I would color my envelope. Now on the envelope, don't press down too hard because you could seep through on the back side of the envelope. So I'm just doing a very light touch here. Okay. All right, so we're done with the dark blue for right now. We'll need it for the flowers eventually. Now I'm going to take the light Balmy Blue and I'm going to just color in the body a little bit. And I'm just going to give him or her a little light coloring. Okay. Oops, I forgot. No, I got, so then again, we're going to go to the inside panel and we'll color in the top portion. And try to stack them up so you can kind of keep track of where all of your items are. So here's another one. Okay, got that one pretty good. All right, so we'll cap this one. The next thing is going to be the body. And I'm going to add some dark around the bottom here because there's like those little, like a little bit of shading there. And then again, we're going to kind of doing the same thing. So we're kind of training our brain to just focus on one thing, one color at the same, at the same time. Here, we're just trying to focus on one thing, not multiple items that we need to color. Okay, we'll cap that one, and I'm going to go to light crumb cake and just kind of color in that belly of the bird here. You could add Wink Castella if you wanted to make your, like the bird shine a little bit. That would look really nice. I'm not going to do that tonight, but that's a suggestion that you could, add some the Wink Castella to maybe the top feather area. Okay, so now we have that done. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark balmy blue, and all the flowers are going to be dark. And except for the center is going to be Parakeet Party. So I find that these flowers are really small. So you kind of just have to let the brush, I'm not using the brush tip, I'm using the chisel point. And what I'm doing is I'm rotating the paper around. So my fingers are only on the edge here, and sometimes I have a tendency to smudge a little bit. So I'm just going around and it kind of in a circle. And when you have little tiny areas like this, sometimes it's good just to do some little tapping, and that will fill up the areas as well. All right, this one's kind of sticking way over to the side here, so we'll just kind of turn our paper a little bit different. And there's little buds here on the branches, so I think those are going to have some color too. And we'll go to the middle here. And here's this one. Now, if I was mass producing 10 of these or 20 or 25, I totally would have some kind of music rocking and rolling, or I'd have a movie on, all the Hallmark. I'm getting addicted to the Hallmark channel, you guys. I can't believe it. Anybody out there watch Hallmark channels, especially this time? They're all Christmas. But I just started watching them this weekend. All right, so here's all the flowers colored in with the dark balmy blue. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark Parakeet Party, and I'm just going to dab the center here to color in the centers of the flowers here. And I know that this is really going to be hard to see. Maybe you can see that one. I'm not sure. The lighting here is not that great. All right, so then capping this one, I'm going to go to the light Parakeet Party. And I want all this foliage to be really bright green. So again, I'm just rotating my paper so that my hand is staying off, like this hand is staying off the paper, and it's kind of on the scrap paper. Okay, we've got 3 leaves here. And it's okay that I stamped along that stitching. You'll just still be able to see the coloring. Trying to stay in the lines the best I can. And I'll work my way up to the top here. Here's one down here, missed that one. Now I'm going to go from the bottom up to the top. As I'm having a serious hot flash. Oh, whoo, it's hot in this room. I might have to stop and turn the fan on. Oh my gosh. Whoo, is it hot. Okay, I think I've got all the foliage there. We'll go back to the bird in just a little bit. We're almost done this one, so I'm going to just take the light crumb cake and I want to color in the branch. Now this crumb cake is almost out of ink, so I'm gonna have to put on my list this color here. Seems like it's a little bit lighter than normal, but I wanted to color in the branches here. Now in Vermont, we don't have any foliage left, so we are now in, it's called stick season. So all we see for foliage, well, we don't see any foliage, we see sticks on trees. So we are now in stick season until about late April, unfortunately. Okay, so that is all set, right? Now we're going to just go quickly and color the bird here. So I'm just, again, going to take my dark balmy blue and I did this a little bit differently just because this little flower, it's a single flower and it's a little bit easier just to do them a little bit single. And then there's only one foliage there, so that one is looking pretty good. We got to color in the beak. And looks like I need to color in the center there. Okay, so now I'm going to color in, there's a little beak there. So I'm going to choose to take my Eclipse Coral Light and then just basically color in the beak there. It needs some kind of coloring because there's a little white spot there. So we gotta color that in. Okay, I think we have all of our coloring done. So let me get these off to the side. I'm gonna stamp the sentiment. Hopefully I can get it the first time. But this is a 1/2 inch strip of basic white. And this sentiment here says, "It's so nice of you to be so nice." And this is going to be stamped with Night of Navy ink. Okay, so see if I can get it the first time. I want to actually center it on the strip. I think I can stamp a little bit better than that. So I'm going to just try to flip it over and see if I can get it a little bit better. Yep, that's better. Whoa, that went flying. Okay, so I want to stamp it kind of in the center because we're going to angle cut this. But I'm going to let that dry. Night of Navy for me, somehow it just doesn't dry very quickly. So I'm going to close that ink pad up and now we're going to assemble the card. So again, I'm using Night of Navy card base. The next layer up is the Balmy Blue. And that is, let me see. Yep, that is just going to be adhered with our seal. You can use Seal or Seal Plus. Both work very nicely. And this is going to get centered right on the front of the Night of Navy. Okay, the next layer up is going to be the bird and the branches, flowering tree, whatever you might want to call it. And we will pop this up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And you can see how that ink came right through the basic white. That's why I'm using scrap paper on my Stampin' Pierce mat. I'm going to grab 5 of these dimensionals and we'll add them to all 4 corners and in the center. I'm pressing them down too to make sure they are well adhered. Now, I like to use my Take Your Pick tool to take the backings off, and I kind of don't see it on my desk. So hold on just a second. I know I had 2. There it is. Okay, so I like to take my Take Your Pick, and I just poke them in, and they kind of go right on this really pointy, sharpy kind of thing. All right, so all those are off. We'll take our image here and center it amongst the other scallop contour dies. Okay, now the sentiment here, it's going to go on this way. So again, I'm going to angle cut this. So I'll take my paper snips and I'm just going to angle cut this one. And I'm going to angle cut this left side the same way as the right side. And now I'm going to angle cut the balmy blue. Okay, and I just want a little bit left. And then I'm going to angle cut this side. Now in the middle here, I'm going to add some seal. And then this is just going to get angled kind of like a crisscross. And then we'll add some more seal in the middle there. And I'm going to angle it this way. So if you made a really really messy area here, you can cover it up. See, I didn't stamp all the way to the stitching right here, so I can cover this up and no one will really know except for you and me. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. We do need to adhere the inside. So we'll just grab our seal and we'll add a little bit on each of the four corners and one in the middle. And then this just gets layered on the inside here. And our final touch is going to be the rhinestone basic jewels. It definitely needs a little bit of bling. And I like using, on most of these cards that I'm making tonight, I'm using the smaller size. I just think it looks, the smaller size looks better. And then this one, I think I'm gonna, let's put it up there. Okay, so there we have it. That's card number 1 out of 4. So let me just clean up my area here. And I will kind of put them side by side here. You can see on the left side here, I used the dark parakeet party for the foliage. And I used on this one, the dark crumb cake. And on this one, I used the light parakeet party and also the light crumb cake. So you can kind of see the difference on both examples here. So I'm gonna pick up my area because I'm gonna try to stay as clean and organized as I can after each card. So you guys can just bear with me while I kind of clean up my area and we'll start all over with card number 2. I'm gonna also check to see if there's any questions as well. Again, this is a free class I'm showing you guys tonight. You can earn this free class with a $35 product order from my website. Oh, and one thing, I'm really sorry about my floor. Can you hear this? This time of year, it creaks all the time because it's getting dry. In the summer, I don't have to worry about it, but in the winter, oh my goodness, it is crazy. So I'm sorry about all the squeaking. And here's that little cute bird in the envelope. So it all kind of matches really nice. Let me just look over here to see if there's any questions. Kathy, you're going to try to stay awake. I know it's late. I'm sorry. I'm tired too. Ideas for Christmas. Okay, I always love ideas for Christmas cards. That sounds good. I'm going to start doing that. Can you do a Post-it note holder? I sure can. I'm never tired of birds and flowers. Me either. Hey, Debbie. Let's see. Love Christmas movies. Watch Hallmark, GAC, and Lifetime. I enjoy teaching methods so much. Your voice is so calming. Oh, my voice is calming. That's funny because I don't think it is. But thank you so much, Terry. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next card, and that is going to be with some Mossy Meadow. So let's put these aside, and we'll showcase these at the very end. So let me just bring in our piercing mat and scrap paper. And here is another card that's not using the hedgehogs. All right, so we're doing 2 non-hedgehogs and 2 hedgehog cards. All right, so this one again is using the flowering tree and a mushroom. So I'm going to show you how you can stamp both images at the same time. This one's fairly easy. Again, you're going to see me coloring this on the inside here. I just added a piece of extra strip of paper. So I'm using the Happy Forest Friends Designer Series paper. I have not used that one because I don't have that stamp set in the bundle, but I can show it to you really quickly. So it's got mushrooms here, and on the back side we've got some Calypso Coral. I'm going to be using this pattern later. And then this one I used, I'm going to be using. And this has got some like flowers, acorns, tree stumps. Oh, there's a little snail there too. I never even saw that until now. So kind of funky. And this has got basic gray on the back side. I am using this color here. That's Mossy Meadow. And this is great scrapbooking paper, I did notice. You'll see some of the bigger prints in just a second. So here's a bigger piece as well. All right, I love this pattern. It's like my favorite. And then here's the bears. I've got to make some thank you cards for the kids class. I always like to send thank you cards to anyone that goes to my classes. So I'm probably going to use this paper here to do that. And here's the mushrooms, by the way. Now here's the paper that you can cut out. Like you can fussy cut those trees, no problem. Or you can cut this in half. Good scrapbooking paper in my mind. I love that little owl there, so cute. And then on the back side, we've got some yellow. This is good scrapbooking paper too. All those birch trees. And then on the back, here's the green I already showed you. And then I already showed you this one. And there's that little friendly bear too. So it is kind of fun paper. I'm gonna get those cards out hopefully by Wednesday night. I usually have help on Wednesdays, and I think Debbie's watching me tonight, so we'll be making some more cards if you can kind of come over. All right, so let's take a try. We're going to try to create this one again. I'm using the deckled rectangles, which is kind of a new die set in my craft room. And I'm also using another punch, which is called the Label Me Fancy Punch. I just use that as a sentiment. On the inside again is that kind of scrap paper. I like to use up my scraps just so, just to embellish kind of on the inside panels. Again, we're using the basic white medium. And we also have our Mossy Meadow, which is going to be, it's going to be portrait. So 8.5 by 5.5, and I've already scored it at, or pre-scored it at 4.25. And where'd my bone folder go? Well, I can just use my take your pick. Okay. All right, so that is the Mossy Meadow. I've got, again, the Happy Forest Friends. This is 3x4. It's a nice size, and you can get lots of 3x4 panels out of a 12x12. Here's that deckled rectangle in basic white, and my basic white 4x5.25. And here is the crumb cake, which is the Label Me Fancy Punch. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to mount, let's bring that card in again. So as you can see, we've got the flowering tree here and the mushroom. So on my block right now is that tree, flowering tree. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to clean it so my hands don't get all black. We'll just take my scrub here and just kind of clean it off and dry it. Okay, so now let's find that mushroom. And by the way, I'm using every single stamp in this case. I can't believe it. I used every single one. That doesn't always happen. Okay, so here's that mushroom, and I want to place it on this block here close enough so that I don't go over the edge of the deckled rectangle. So I'm just going to eyeball this for right now. Whoops, it's got to go this way, Karen. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of looking at the grass here. This is not a Stampin' Up block, or maybe it was a long time ago. I'm not really sure. It's one that was given to me. Okay, so now I've got both of those on there, and I'm going to turn it around just to see it from this side. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take that deckled rectangle, and I'm going to add it here just to make sure that it's all going to fit. It's going to be wicked close. And as you can see from the sample, we don't have a lot of room here to work with on the edges. So we'll see how well I can stamp this. This deckled rectangle piece here, it does have a smooth side and a rough side. So we are stamping on the smooth side. And we are also stamping with Memento Tuxedo Black Ink, which is the ink we use when we're using Stampin' Blends. All right, and I like to, when I'm using Memento, I like to take the ink pad right to the stamp because I have more control with it. And plus, this is much smaller than our classic ink pads. So I just like to do it that way. All right, we're going to take our deckled rectangle. Again, I've got my scrap paper. I've got my stamp pierce mat. And we are going to just hover over here. And I'm kind of looking at the top flower, the mushroom, the right side of the mushroom, the grass, and the left side of the foliage. And we'll see how well I stamped. I'm just going to move my fingers around. And then most of the time your cardstock does stick to the photopolymer, so I just like to peel it off. And it looks like I got the whole entire image on that deckled rectangle. So that's good. All right, the next stamping we're going to do is on the crumb cake, and I'm going to take soft suede. And the sentiment says, finding a friend is the best discovery of all. And again, I'm using soft suede ink. Okay. It's not as dark as it should be. I guess I need to re-ink this one. And then we have our envelope. And I'm just going to stamp the sentiment on the lower left corner there. You can add your designer series paper to your envelope flap. That's always a nice enhancement to your envelopes as well. Let's close up this stamps pad and we're going to color again. All right, so this one I wanted to make more of like Calypso Coral, and I got some Mango Melody in there and some Mossy Meadow because the Mossy Meadow is the cardstock we're using. So I wanted to bring in the coloring with Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to need, I want the dark Calypso Coral. So we got dark Calypso Coral, and oh, I used pumpkin pie. No, I think so those little mushrooms here, they have those little round circles. I used a different color, and I think I used actually Mango Melody because it's a bright yellowish orange. And I've got Mossy Meadow, and that's light. I think it's light. Let's see. Yes. And I've got crumb cake. I think we're good. So let me pull up my sleeves here. I like to go with the flowers first. So I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to start on the right side here. And I'm going to color just the petals. And I'll try to color a little bit quicker than the other time. Okay, and then let's see, I'm rotating. Just going in the circle with the deckled rectangle here. Okay, here's another one. We got one way up here. It looks like there was maybe a little piece of lint on my stamp because there's a little piece, a little like stringy Memento black there, but it's okay. Another thing you can do with your wing castella, you can make all of the flowers glittery. That would be super fun. Okay, and then got one here. Now, the mushroom also is Calypso Coral, but the first thing I want to do is I'm going to color the little circles here, just because when I was making the sample card, I was kind of tended to overcolor, and this way, by adding them, I think it can, it'll be better for me. I don't know, we'll see. I haven't done it this way yet, so we'll see if it works better. So I like to just go around the edge first and then color in the, like going towards the middle here. So it's really tight in between those circles there. So what you can do is use your brush tip, but I think unfortunately this brush tip is, yeah, it's broken because my in-person class, somebody kind of pushed a little too hard with it and busted the brush part. So I'm going to just do the best I can here, just going really slow. There's a lot of ink still left in this one, so I'm pretty sure this was a brand new pen that kind of got busted. And I tell my participants every time when we use the Stampin' Blends that brush side is only for brushing, brush strokes, not by pressing down like hard, right? Some listen and some don't, but that's okay. It's kind of how we learn. Okay, so there we go. That's not too bad. The stem of the mushroom is going to be crumb cake. And, you know, I don't know if this is supposed to be Calypso Coral or not. I don't know my mushrooms. You'd think I would. I've seen so many mushrooms when I hike, but I'm going to color it. And then we'll just add the dark crumb cake for the stem. Okay. Then I'm going to color. I'm going to use dark crumb cake for the branches and the kind of the base of the tree here, because that light crumb cake was just a little too light. So I'm going to try to use and stay in the lines the best I can with the dark crumb cake. I kind of like brush stroking a little bit. You could leave them black if you wanted to, but I'm just going to try to color over top of the black just to give it a little bit of brown. Okay, I think that looks fairly good. The grass will be next. I'm going to do something different with the grass. So I've got Mossy Meadow in there first. Let me just start on this side. And this one's super juicy too. It must be a new Blends. Okay. Again, I'm rotating that paper around. Trying to keep basically the side of my hand off of that paper. Just a little bit more here. Okay. You know, I did this one all Calypso Coral and just realized I should have colored some of them Mango Melody, but we've got all Calypso Coral. I'll color the centers of the flowers with the Mango Melody. You'll just get two versions. You can color whatever you want, really. Now that grass, I'm going to add some Parakeet Party to it. because grass is not always the same color. So basically, I'm just going to fill in a little bit. So we've got some Mossy Meadow, and we also have some Parakeet Party in there as well. Okay, I think that is it. So let me put all these in my basket, and we can assemble the card. Okay. So again, this is the Happy Forest Friends. We're just going to adhere it right to the front of the card. It's cut 3x4. I like 3x4 just because you can get lots of panels out of a 3x4. Also 3x3s work really good too. There's no rhyme or reason. I just thought I would put it over here and just with a little bit of a edge of the Mossy Meadow showing there. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'll add this one here, and this one's going to get popped up. So we will turn it over and we'll grab 5 of the dimensionals, and then we'll take those backings off and we'll adhere it right to the front. I've got a really super busy week this week. I've got, I work today, I work tomorrow. Wednesday I have off. Thursday I work, and I have my YouTube live. I'll be back here Thursday at 7. And then Friday I have off, but I'm going to Montreal for Onstage. So Onstage is an event that Stampin' Up! Is putting on, and I'll get to see the new catalog, the mini catalog. On Fridays, or no, Saturday. We're going to arrive Friday, and the event is on Saturday, so I can't wait for that. That's a bonus of being a demonstrator, is you get to see the events, or you get to see the products and catalogs a little bit earlier than my customers. So if you want to see the product earlier, then I would assume you would want to join Stampin' Up! And you would want to join our team, which is called the Inspired Daisies team of stampers. And we're all from all over the United States, and some of you are watching tonight, so I appreciate that. All right, so what I did was I added the Stampin' Seal on this side, which is going to go right on the white, and then 1 dimensional, so it's going to be the same height of that panel. And I'm just going to basically put it in that white space and adhere it on there. The next step is to grab our panel here, and we'll just add some seal and put this on the bottom. I like to have a little bit of white showing. If it goes over the edge here, which sometimes it does, we just take our paper snips and we'll just trim it right down. Okay, that was about a 1/16 of an inch. That would still bother me, so we're going to trim that one down. Again, we've got our 4 corners in our middle with Stampin' Seal. Our Stampin' Seal is so sticky, especially the Seal Plus, that you don't need to use hardly any adhesive because it's super strong. Okay, we've got that there. Now our final touch is going to be those basic rhinestone jewels. Again, this is my free gift from me when purchasing $50 worth of products from my online store. So card kits plus the basic rhinestones, because I think they make a super nice embellishment on this card here. Now I put on this one lonely rhinestone over here. I didn't really like that, so I'm going to put 3 on here, and let's put 1 over there, and we're forming our triangle. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. We've got one with Mango Melody, Calypso Coral, and this one's all Calypso Coral. And then we've got our envelope with the sentiment in the corner here. Now, for you that sell your cards, you need to abide by the Stampin' Up! Policy, which is the angel policy. And you will need to have that Stampin' Up! Copyright logo on your product. So this is called, this stamp came with the limited edition. This is our angel policy stamp. So if you are selling cards, like my Post-it note holders. Those are stamped on the back side, usually somewhere that has the Stampin' Up! Copyright logo. And you can kind of see there's lots of different ones here. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ones that have the copyright logo. I chose to use Made with Love on this. Most of my projects are made, I use this one. I just usually use a color that will go good and dark enough so you can see. And I totally stamped that crooked, but that's what it looks like on the back side. Okay, so I wanted to throw that in there. So if you didn't know, we do have an angel policy, and we do have stamp sets that we should be using when we sell our products. So, or our cards or projects or what have you. Okay, so let me just see if there's any other questions, and I will move on to card number 3. Let's see. Oh, good, Debbie. Thank you. One of the items I sold this weekend was an oven mitt with vinyl. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I'd love to see that, Kathy. If you have a picture, you should post that on our team page. Okay, so that's card number 2. We're going to move on to card number 3, which is really fun too. It's got we're going into the hedgehogs now. So let me just clean up some of these stamps because we'll need to use them again. And you can hear me squeaking on the floor. I love the Stampin' Scrub. I've had these since, I don't know, some of these I've had since I started Stampin' Up! As a hobbyist back in 2012. So you can see that they hold up really nicely. Okay, I think I've got everything. I gotta take this mushroom off because we're not gonna be stamping that mushroom. I will put it back in my case so I don't lose it. I love that the Stampin' Up! Is putting the images on the paper now so you can kind of see if you're missing any, which sometimes I do kind of lose them. All right, so let's put our envelopes together, and we'll put these in the pile of completion, and we'll move on to, let's see, which one is next. All right, we are going to go with this one with the butterfly highlighting. So here's the one, I did a little bit different. I made one with the sentiment and one without. It's the same kind of layout, but I didn't know if I wanted a sentiment on here. So I know some of you like to make your cards and then add the sentiment later. So this is a great kind of layout where you can do that. There's lots of white space over here and down here as well. I did stamp It's So Nice of You to Be So Nice up here in the corner, and that is just stamped with the Memento Tuxedo Black. So let's get started on this one. I am going to stamp it with the sentiment there. All right, so we have in our little packet, your kit will include your basic white envelope, medium, Stampin' Up! Brand, by the way. And we will also have a thick basic white, which is 8.5 by 5.5, already pre-scored it at 4 1/4. Yours will come pre-scored and folded. And here's the Happy Forest Friends, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we got Calypso Coral, which is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then here's our stamping panel, which is 3 by 4. And I think we're good. So now I gotta really pay attention because we are stamping 3 images on this panel. The first one, actually 4. I'm gonna stamp this flowering tree first, then the hedgehog, then the butterfly, and then the sentiment. Let's see if I can get this on the first try here. So it's all going to be stamped in Memento Black, and then we'll be coloring it in really quickly. So again, I'm just taking my Memento Black. Oh, actually, I got to stamp more of the grass too. So this one's got a lot of stamping in it. Okay, so we're going to stamp this way over to the left side. Okay. Just pressing really hard and not rocking that block. All right, so that's the first image. That's really nice and crisp. The next one over is going to be that hedgehog, and there's two different ones. This one is used for the punch, and then this one is just for stamping. I'm going to stamp this in Memento as well. Now this one I need to stamp way over towards the right because I need room for that butterfly. And I want to line up his feet where the grass, oh boy, I don't know if I can fit this butterfly in here. Hopefully I can. All right, there's Mr. Hedgehog or Mrs. Butterfly will be next, because if I can't, then I'm gonna just flip this over and try to stamp again. I think it might work. So I wanna aim for the little nose here. And let's see if I can get this lined up right on top. It's a little bit over, but that's okay. It's squishing his nose. Okay, the sentiment will be next. That's going to just go right up here. If you had a happy birthday, you could stamp happy birthday up there too, or thinking of you. Now the grass. We have grass, a little stamp that it's got grass, and it fits nicely on an A block. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp just like 2 rows of grass. You can do double stamping too. Okay, we're going to color that in. So I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but I think I can be able to get that to work for you. The envelope, I did stamp the butterfly. So let me grab that. I love this little butterfly. It's so cute. And it's just going to get stamped over in the corner there. We'll cap the ink and we'll start coloring. Let's see, I did this one. You know what? This one I'm going to color this one Mango Melody and Calypso Coral. So let me just get these out. And let's see. A stupid floor. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy. It's so squeaky. All right, there's one. I'll get a little bud here. What you want to do is you kind of don't want them all in the same area. You want to just get them kind of splattered, not splattered, but what's the word I'm trying to find in my brain? I don't know. You don't want all the same color on the same branch, basically. You want a variety. Okay, so I think that's good for right now. Let's cap this, and I'm going to throw in some Mango Melody. And let's get a little bud there. I guess I could have gotten really fancy and did the petals in different colors, but that would have taken way too long. So we're just going to just do the same color. Oh my gosh, it's too much information, but you might see some sweat rolling down. It's another hot flash. Oh, hate that. Okay, so I think I have all of them. Yes. Now the butterfly, I did use Mango Melody, so let's color in these white areas here. Okay, then we're gonna start with Calypso Coral. Oh, we already did Calypso Coral. I actually got to color in, boy, I'm not doing a very good job here. The marker is very juicy. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's color the hedgehog. So the hedgehog I used, let's see, dark and light. And I also used ivory. So I've got dark and light crumb cake plus ivory, and that comes from the skin tones. So the dark, I'm going to start with dark first. And I'm going to add the dark around the edge here. Now, I don't know what a hedgehog is for coloring. I thought brown, but I could be totally off. Okay, I think that's okay. Then I'm going to fill it in with crumb cake. You can see I'm not very fancy with my coloring, but you guys get it, you know. If you follow me, you know. I think it's pretty good. We don't have to be all fancy. Okay, so then I'm going to take the dark crumb cake, and it's going to be basically, I'm going to go like this, up and down around the edge, because it's really not a straight line. And I'm turning the paper as I color in. Okay, and then we'll just go over top of the Memento Black. Okay, now the skin tone, which is, again, that was ivory. I'm going to use it for the ears and the little feet. Just give it a little different color there. Now let's go with the Parakeet Party and Mossy Meadow for the grass. So I'm not sure what I'll be using, but it's going to be a combination on the grass. So I think I'm going to start with the Parakeet. No, I'm going to start with Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to start with dark. So again, we're just going to kind of go over top of the Memento Black. No rhyme or reason, just fill it in. And then we're going to highlight it with our Parakeet Party. You can have some white spaces showing, it really doesn't matter. Okay. Now, Parakeet Party. I'm going to go with the light on the foliage. Let's get a different color green here. Are you guys sick and tired of watching me color the flowering tree? I'm sticking with all the same colors too. I'm just trying to show you how you can get away with just a limited amount of supplies to, you know, to work up your inventory in blends. You could just order kind of what goes together. Look at some designer series paper and see how it is. The colors are matching one another. That's a way you can do it. You can order them, you know, by color family. I like to order at least one color of Stampin' Blends every single time I place an order. That way I have all the colors, but I'm slowly putting back into my inventory because as we use them, they will get dry, especially like the colors that are used a lot. They will dry out faster. All right, I think for the center, I'm going to choose, I'm going to use that really dark color, which is from Skin Tones, and it's 100. And I'm just going to give the center some brown instead. Change it up a little bit for you. And then the trunk and branches, I'm going to highlight it with that, and then I'm going to fill it in with the dark crumb cake. Oh, we totally went outside the lines there. Okay, I think that's good. We have a color lifter that you can use to take that ink off. I'm not going to do that tonight, but it is called a color lifter. Oh, forgot my little butterfly. That won't take but 2 seconds. Oh my gosh, this floor is creaking. And I'll throw some of the brown in the body of that butterfly and call it good. There we go. All right, these are all going back in my basket. Okay, we're gonna assemble this card. It's really actually so easy. Let's adhere this one first. And this has got a 1/4 inch border, so all the way around there. Okay. Then we've got our Happy Forest Friends. Let's see, start. Again, 1/2 inch of seal. And then this one gets placed right on the thick basic white, which was already cut at 8.5 by 5.5, pre-scored at 4 1/4. This one is going to get adhered with Stampin' Dimensionals because we need to give it some lift and dimension. Again, we'll use 5. And we'll take our handy dandy, take your pick to take those backings off. Okay, this was directional, by the way. I think it's directional. Kind of looks like little hearts. Let's take our rhinestones. And I'm going to use the putty side here. And we'll just throw 3 on here. 1, 2, and 3. That one's done. So let's put these side by side. Okay, and we've got our coordinating envelope. It's super cute. Okay, so that is that one. I actually got another one here too that doesn't have the sentiment, so maybe I'll put that one there so you can kind of see. All right, you guys can look at those while I clean up my stamps, and we've got one more card to go, and that is it. And it's not, I'm not coloring this tree. I'm going to be using the punch though. I think I got what I need. Let me see if there's any questions before I move on. I like to stamp tone. If I colored that card front and then stamped a sentiment, I'd definitely mess it up. No, you would not, Debbie. Going to do any other projects or cards only? Just cards, Lynn. But I'm going to carry on. Thursday, I'm going to be doing more projects with this stamp set. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. Probably I want to do a tag, and I'm not really sure. Maybe some 3 by 3 note cards. Those are super fun. So I'll think of something. Of course, I have to think of something. Okay, so our sample card is right here. It's really cute. Okay, and I think I'm using different pattern of paper here for this card for you, but it's basically very simple. Okay, and I'm using basic gray, which is actually in the paper. All right, so we have our basic white envelope. We have some crumb cake scrap. Oops. We have basic gray and a basic white, and these are from the Stylish Shapes. Here's our Happy Forest Friends. This is 2.5 by 4, and you've got 2 of the same size. We have our basic white, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And then here's our base. So what we do is we start with 4 1/4, and it's 11. And then when I scored it, I put it in my scoring, my trimmer, and I scored it 2 3/4. Okay, here's a line right here. And then I turn it around and I scored this side at 2 3/4. All right, so then we'll just take our bone folder just to get these burnished really nice, and they meet up in the middle. Okay, so easy so far. Now, this paper, I cut out, there we go, like a puzzle. So these two pieces were like this, and when I cut the strips, so I cut it 4 inches by 12, and then I cut it down 2 3/4. So I kept the two panels together, so it will kind of look like it's a puzzle. Okay, can you kind of see those branches there are supposed to go together? So that's kind of fun to do that too. I'm going to get rid of these, get these adhered on real quick. And if it's easier for you, just open up the card and put it on like this. Okay, that's that side. And then we'll add some more seal on this panel. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way, I think. Yes. And then we'll open it up and add it here. Now this paper is kind of crazy because the stumps, it's like I can't figure this out. Like some of the stumps are going up and some are going like horizontally, which do not make any sense. So I'm kind of going with what the branches are doing on this layout here. So that's kind of what our card's going to basically look like. This white panel is just going to be adhered in here. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. I just kept it white. Okay, you could stamp a hedgehog in here, I guess. Okay, then let's see, what else do I have? I've got this. I'm missing my little, I think I probably forgot to cut that, but that's okay. We'll try to use it from the scrap. So let's grab our hedgehog, and this is the stamp that goes with a hedgehog. The other one does not. So I'm going to stamp this in soft suede ink. So soft suede is darker than the crumb cake. I gotta look at that punch. I've only used it like a couple of times, so I want to make sure I'm stamping this right. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to stamp it like so. When I put it in the punch, that's the way, the direction my hedgehog is going to go. So that means I will stamp them this way. Okay. And then I can stamp that sentiment actually over here and use this edge. And let's stamp the envelope. There. I think we are all done with this. Okay, so now we're going to use the punch. So this is the body. This is kind of the hedgehog all in one. And then this is a top. So I'm not going to be using this piece, but the paper is a little bit short. So what you need to do is I'm going to take a piece of a Post-it note. Okay, that way I've got a little bit more to work with. I'm going to slide this in. And there's lots of things you have to look at to get this centered. So I'm starting here and working my way all the way around. So I've got to look at the feet. And, ooh, I should have used a bigger piece of cardstock, but Okay, I think that's good. So I'm looking at the nose, the feet, and then the body up here. Punch it out. And then this here, I'm just going to use my paper snips, and I'm going to just snip this as straight as I can. And then I'm going to angle cut it. Okay, so it looks like that. We're almost done, you guys. This is the quickest and easiest card. We're going to pop this one up. And 2 will be fine. Oops. This is ready, but I don't want to put it on yet. I want to put, oops, it's stuck. So this basic white stylish shape is going to get adhered right onto the basic gray stylish shapes. So it's just, it looks like that. Then this is going to go right in the center. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the sentiment at an angle. And this is just going to get adhered right straight to the circles. Okay. Now the thing you got to remember is, depending on which way you want to open it, is where you put, just disregard that little mini dimension. I'll use it for photography. Okay, so just pretend that's not there. So you got to make sure that your dimensionals are only on half of the circle. Okay, this one opens up to the left and right. Maybe I can put this one on the right side and it'll open up right to left. So let's try to do that one. So what I do is I kind of place it in the middle. Okay, and we got to remember, I'm going to put the dimensionals on the right side. So we'll flip it up and go over. Okay, and then we've got 3 I'm going to put on, so kind of make a triangle there. I'll just take those off real quick with my fingernail. Now, oh shoot, I put them on the wrong side. Oh well. Oh well, they're supposed to be on this side. Anyway, you're going to get a left side opening. Now, just in case maybe I went over too far, I'm not going to attach this completely, because I'm going to just sneak and look and see. See, that's what happens when you don't put them on correctly, okay? It's showing. So what I need to do is I need to move this dimensional over a little bit, okay? And a lot of times you can salvage your dimensionals if you're really careful about it. Okay, I'll try them again. There, so we don't see them anymore. So now I know I can squish them. Now this one, I added the rhinestones on the designer series paper, and I think I'm going to do that again. And we're just going to add 3. So I'm going to look for the white spaces. So 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that one's straight down. I can't have it that way, right? I'm going to put it right here. Got a little space right there on that crumb cake. Whew, that is all 4 cards, you guys. So here's this one. And we got to look at the 2 designer series paper. Both patterns look really nice. This could be my thank you card for the kids class. What do you think, Debbie? I think this one would be good. It's so nice of you to be so nice. All right, so let me just see if there's any other questions. Doesn't look like it. So I'm going to go over the card kits again. Depending on what I have for designer series paper is what the kit's going to be. All right, so we have this card here, and we have the Mossy Meadow. Again, that's DSP could be a little bit different, but I'll make sure it looks awesome. So here's, I'm going to go with the sentiment one. And there's that one. And I love the Balmy Blue. Okay. Really cute card. Doesn't have hedgehogs, and it's kind of like a, you can make it happy birthday, whatever. And I love that little bird there on the inside and the envelope too. Okay, so how can you earn this class for free? Very simply, what you need to do is you need to go over to my website, inspiredbygram.com. And when you place your order of $35, you'll receive 4 of the kits, 1 each of the kits. But you need to use this host code here. And I know you can't see it, so I'll bring it up. And it's in the description box, and I'll put it in the YouTube description box a little bit later, but it's KQZPPACW. Now, I don't come up with that. Stampin' Up does. So it doesn't make any sense to me, but it's a unique code. And so that will tell me that you've placed your order with the host code that I am offering with this kit, and that I know that you are going to want this kit here. So if your order is $50 or more, you'll get a full pack of the basic rhinestone jewels. Okay, recommended to complete the projects as I have completed them. You will need the Happy Hedgehog stamp set, the Builder Punch, and Stampin Blends course of your choice, whatever you want. And definitely the Memento Tuxedo Black Ink. You could get away with just the black ink, but I would throw in maybe the soft suede too, because I did use that as well. So you'll get all the die cuts. You will not get the stamped images. I can't do that because of Stampin' Up policy, but you'll get that white. You'll get the Calypso Coral panel. You get the DSP. You get the card base. Everything you see, but not any stamped images. Now this hedgehog, it will be not, you'll get a scrap because you're going to need that punch in the stamp to create that hedgehog, okay? So just a little note on that. All right, so that is your class for today. Thursday, I will come back to you again with a few more projects using this stamp set and punch. I'll try to make it a little bit different, maybe some 3Ds. And maybe some 3x3 cards, because I think those are super cute, and I know kids like those are super cute. So I think that hedgehog will fit on those cards too. So if you have any questions, please let me know. You can, hey, go away. What does that mean? Oh my God. Oh my God, best adult dating site. Are you kidding me? Those people that are, what do you call them? Oh my God. I have a troll. That's what they're called. Trolls. Oh. How do they do that anyway? I have no clue. Like, honestly, don't they have something better to do with their time than troll around on my YouTube channel? Are you kidding me? Okay, I will try to erase those and ban those from my site. So anyway, I'm going to update my website eventually. I do need to get my team agenda out because we have a team meeting, by the way, this Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I'm going to try to get that agenda out. And I got a lot of other things to do with my card club too. So trying to catch up. Being away in August has really got me a little bit far behind, but I'm going to get there. And I hope you give me a chance and watch me on Thursday as well. So have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.